Well, we're out for another hike in the foothills of the Oregon Coast Range, and we decided to stop and answer some more questions. This is our, 11th question and answer video. And if you take a look in the video description, you can see all of the previous question and answer videos that we did. If you want to take a look at them all together, they would probably amount to a frequently asked questions.
Yeah. So our first question today comes from one of our patrons, Laura, on Patreon, and she asked, what do we do to keep from being bored as tourists, and do we volunteer, or what makes us have
Sense
a
of purpose in our lives? Yeah, so, wow. Well, I guess the tourist part is something we're definitely doing more of, and that's probably what keeps it from being bored, because we are jumping around quite a bit to those types of places. But I would say also that we don't really hang out at the tourist traps too much. I mean, we do go through those and investigate them some, but we don't stay in the national parks, for one thing. We try to immerse ourselves in the local area and explore that as well. So we usually stay outside of, say, a national park, and that helps a little bit.
And rather than just like being on a quick vacation where you have to pack everything in really quick, we can stay a little bit longer at places, so we're, breaking it up with just regular things and doing laundry and grocery shopping and the things
life.
that normal life entails. So
yes, we still have a lot of that going on.
Yeah, and we have put in about, what, 1,500
over 1,500 hours, going on 2,000 now, probably somewhere in the middle of that.
Of volunteer work since we started doing this, so we definitely do that.
Yep, and I guess we just try to keep it like we would in any other living situation, just try to change it up and be happy and explore and stuff like that. But as we said in previous videos, even when we pull into what we'd consider a destination area, we usually the town or whatever's in the surrounding area becomes part of our exploration, not just the, say, like national park. So that helps out quite a bit. So thanks for that question. Well, in one way or the other, we get this question quite often, and that is, how did I learn to drive a fifth wheel? And I'll primarily be answering this one because Susan does not drive.
I have not learned yet.
Or pull the fifth wheel. Well, I didn't get any formal training whatsoever. I didn't even get anybody to give me any pointers or anything. I guess it just came by way of trial and error. When I was young, I'd maybe pull a boat or a U-Haul trailer or something like that behind a truck or a car. And, you just kind of get used to backing things in. And this is obviously considerably larger with the long bed truck and then 40 foot of fifth wheel. It's really not that hard. That's easier said than done, I guess, but it's really not that difficult. I know that there are places that you can go to learn, and there's probably people that do private training as well. But I think it's just been from growing up just pulling smaller things and then just kind of understanding the physics of it. And
and that is a little bit different with a fifth wheel as opposed to a regular pull trailer that we had in the past. There is a little bit of a different kind of way of doing things with the fifth wheel because of where it's attached to the truck. So there's a little bit of a learning curve on that, but Bernie's awesome at
Thanks.
it.
Well, it does seem fairly easy at this point, but I don't go around saying that because I don't want some great challenge to come my way. You know how that goes. But anyway, it's definitely been something that I just kind of grew into. And I think by way of advice, I would just say, when you're backing up, let's say you're on a main campground or park road and you're going to back in what would be a 90-degree turn off of that road into a camp spot, I usually turn my wheel all the way so that the back end of the fifth wheel starts going into the spot, and then I will start unwinding out of that as I'm backing up. So in other words, I think what some people do wrong, just as I've been observing people pulling in once we've been pulled in or whatever, is that they tend to not unwind as they're backing up, which makes them jackknife or put their vehicle on the other side of the road into some trees or whatever's on that side of the road. So it's basically just doing slow and steady movements, and then as far as maneuvering through towns and stuff like that, I just as we said in previous videos, we make sure that we do our homework. We might look at satellite imagery. We might call ahead to parks and say, what's the best road into your park as far as clearance and all those types of things. So it's just a lot of just I guess grow as you go.
Yeah.
And but overall, it works out well.
Our next question comes from a viewer, Kim, and she asked if we run into situations with rowdy people and partiers in places that we've stayed. And I would say no, not really. We haven't run into any issues with that. But we do stay a lot of times in RV parks with other RVers, and it seems to be usually pretty quiet. I think maybe in campgrounds where there's maybe more people that are just out for the weekend and,
Yeah, I think it seems to be, just in our experience, and this might not be accurate across the board, but it seems to be that the private parks tend to be a little quieter. I mean, that's not always true.
Yeah, not always.
But the public ones could tend to be a little bit rowdy at times during the summer, during peak season when there's a lot of people tent camping and stuff. Because, I mean, to us, getting out in the outdoors is a place to be a little bit quiet and just take in their surroundings. And to other people, it's just a way of cutting loose after being bound up at work all week or something. So, I wouldn't say we've had any serious difficulties. I mean, in the past, before we were RVing, we certainly had rowdy campers, and you just wish that they would be quiet at 2 a.m. But but no, overall it's been pretty good.
It's been really nice.
All right, so a few people have asked us, what do we like best about the RV life? Well, we've definitely, I think, covered this a little bit in other videos in a broader sense, but just in a nutshell, I don't know, what do you think you like the most?
Well, I think to me, I like the fact that I can move my house and I can follow the weather a little bit and not have to spend months of the year in some kind of weather that I really am not comfortable in.
Yeah, I would say ditto. I think that's probably biggest for me. When I get questioned sometime, would I like to go back to living in a house or something like that? I mean, sure, there's been times when I've set things up and I have to put them away to move or something that I just wish I had a room that I could just throw things in and leave it there. But overall, I mean, I know, because I immediately start thinking I'd want to move that place, and I wouldn't like that I would have to stay, and that's just where we're at now. I mean, this could certainly change, and none of this stuff, no matter what you're doing, what we're doing, is concrete or something that everyone should do the same way, of course. So I don't know. It's I guess the movement thing, being able to move and explore and see new things. You know, that's just been easier. It has been a little bit challenging in some ways, because what we do, since we're not retired, we have to continue to make a living while we're on the move, and this has been very challenging, and we're kind of used to this type of thing through our lives, but it is stressful and nerve-wracking at times, but then there's times that it's not. So, but I don't think that's unlike any job that I've had in my life. There's ups and downs and goods and bads about it. So that's definitely been one of the considerations, is that I guess we like being able to go where we want, when we want, type of thing. But it also has to factor in, where are we going to work? So there's pros and cons of every living situation, but for us, just the ability to be mobile is what we like best about this lifestyle. Yeah, definitely. Something we were asked, I think, in a previous question and answer video is about merchandise, like T-shirts and stickers and things like that. And I think during that time we said that we were contemplating or that we would do it or anything, but we finally did it. We get asked this quite a bit, which is really neat that people want us to make things like that. And so we designed a couple things. We have a Wild on the Go, Wild About Life T-shirt, and it comes in a bunch of different ones. You have to kind of click on the links and see the different colors and stuff. And then what else is there? There's some hoodies, and then we have a weather and UV resistant sticker, 3.5-inch sticker. We'll put a link to this stuff in the video description, but yeah, and we have a few other like travel designs and things like that that we're going to add in the coming weeks. Yeah. So we're kind of excited about some of those, just some kind of travel or adventure type sayings and things. And you know, we just want to kind of give a little bit of variety there for people. It's not all about us or what we're doing. You know, we just are happy to be a part of what a lot of people are doing these days. It's wonderful to be in this community with you guys, and we appreciate you viewing quite a bit, and we hope you'll check out our merch and see if there's something that you don't mind getting.
Yeah, and don't forget to share and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.